This video will comprehensively address the reasons for a tattoo failing to take color. Firstly, fast hand speed. The ink won't penetrate the skin and create color if you move your hand too fast. Slowing down the hand speed can solve this issue. Secondly, insufficient ink. Light-handed dipping won't provide enough ink, which makes you penetrate the needle into the skin with no ink. Sufficient ink is necessary for outlining or shading tattoos. Thirdly, clogged needle tip. Petroleum jelly can clog the needle tip and needs to be cleaned. Another situation is dry or unclean skin. Before tattooing, the skin should be shaved and cleaned. If the tattoo needle pierces through body hair, the hair may embed between the needle tip, which greatly affects color saturation. The first method to clean the needle tip is to start the machine and scrape it on paper. Please make sure not to let the needle pierce the paper, as paper debris can also clog the needle. Clogs can be solved by this method. After cleaning, rinse it again, and then dry it to remove any moisture, because the moisture inside the needle tip can dilute the pigment. This is something that needs to be taken seriously. If the above methods cannot clean the blockage inside the needle tip, such as piercing through hair or paper, the needle tip will be difficult to clean with water. In this case, remove the tattoo needle. Hold the back end of the needle with your hand and wipe off the impurities. The colorant that forms clumps on the inner wall of the needle cannot be cleaned completely. The only way is to replace it with a brand new one. Therefore, it is important to rinse the needle frequently while tattooing, to ensure that the colorant does not accumulate on the inner wall of the needle. Fourthly, if the pigment has been left for too long, or constantly exposed to wind, the ink will become thick or even dry. Therefore, do avoid exposing ink to fans or air conditioning. For thickened ink, dilute it with blending solution or distilled water in a ratio of 7:3. Then use a mixer to blend it evenly. Never use completely dried up ink like this. The pigment particles have already clumped, making it ineffective for coloring, and it's also unsafe. Fifth, the needle doesn't penetrate deep enough. The needle penetrates too shallow, and the pigment only enters the epidermal layer instead of the dermal layer. The epidermis is the outermost layer of the skin, and its cells renew relatively quickly. The pigment may gradually be eliminated by new cells, resulting in fading or disappearing of the tattoo's color. During tattooing, the pigment should be injected into the deeper dermal layer, which is the second layer of skin, more stable and maintains long-lasting color. Sixth, accidental contact with hard objects, such as the ink cup, bends or dulls the needle tip. In this case, the needle won't penetrate the skin. Using the practice skin excessively can also make the tattoo needle dull. Replace it promptly, at least once a day. Please note that when tattooing on real skin, it must be a one-time use. Uneven or wrinkled skin areas are more difficult to color. The solution is to ask the customer to tighten the skin and use the hovering needle technique. The needle should be longer and faster in frequency. For soft skin areas like the armpit, use a smaller needle. And there are also some areas where the skin is soft. Ask the customer to raise their arm and stretch the skin. The tattoo artist uses their hand to support and stretch the skin. Increase the voltage to 8-10 volts. It's the same method as tattooing the armpit. Hard skin areas, ears, soles of feet, palms, fingers, face. There are areas hard to color. Moreover, due to the skin's metabolism, colors may fade away completely. The correct method for outlining is as follows. Dip the ink. Fill the storage compartment of the needle tip. Before starting the outlining, wipe off any excess ink from the back of the needle tip. Follow the speed demonstrated in the video to create the outline. Learn step by step. Specialize in a field. I'm Zero. See you in the next episode. Farewell.